One of the biggest mistakes people make as they get older is assuming that because something says healthy or low calorie on the box, it's automatically good for them. But when it comes to frozen convenience foods, that couldn't be further from the truth. These meals are marketed as time savers, but in reality, they're silent health destroyers, especially for seniors who rely on them for daily nutrition. The human body after 50 doesn't process food the same way it did in your 20s or 30s. Your metabolism slows, your digestion becomes less efficient, and your insulin sensitivity drops. That means every bite counts. And when you fill your freezer with frozen dinners, microwavable pastas, or healthy, low-fat entries, you're setting off a metabolic chain reaction that leads straight to fatigue, belly fat, and accelerated aging. Let's look at what's really happening inside your body when you eat one of those frozen meals. You heat it up and you feel satisfied for a moment, but that satisfaction is short-lived because the meal is loaded with refined carbohydrates and hidden sugars. These carbs break down quickly into glucose, flooding your bloodstream and forcing your pancreas to pump out insulin. Insulin is a storage hormone. It pushes glucose into your cells, but it also tells your body to store fat and stop burning it. The more often your insulin spikes, the harder it becomes to access your stored energy. Over time, this leads to insulin resistance, a condition where your cells stop responding properly to insulin. When that happens, your body keeps producing more and more insulin, which keeps your fat locked in storage mode. And here's the shocking part. Most people over 60 who struggle with belly fat aren't eating too much food. They're eating too many insulin-spiking foods. Those frozen meals are designed to trick your body. They're full of cheap fillers, starches, and chemical preservatives to extend shelf life and improve texture. And if you check the label, you'll often find ingredients you can't even pronounce. These additives are not food. They're chemical flavor enhancers that confuse your brain's hunger signals. Monosodium glutamate, MSG, and artificial flavor compounds overstimulate your taste buds, giving you a false sense of satisfaction while leaving your body nutritionally starved. So even though you just ate a full meal, your body is still craving real nutrients. That's why so many people feel hungry again an hour after eating one of those frozen entries. Another major issue is sodium. Some of these frozen dinners contain more than 500 milligrams of sodium in a single serving. That's nearly the entire recommended daily amount. And it's coming from processed salt, not natural mineral-rich sea salt. This kind of sodium causes water retention, bloating, and elevated blood pressure. For someone over 60, that's a dangerous combination. The kidneys have to work harder to filter that excess sodium, and when they can't keep up, fluid builds up in the tissues. This not only increases strain on your cardiovascular system, but also makes you feel sluggish and swollen. Seniors often think their fatigue is due to aging, when in reality, it's the chemical and sodium overload from processed foods silently draining their energy. Let's talk about what happens at the cellular level. Your mitochondria, the tiny energy factories inside your cells, are very sensitive to the fuel you give them. When you eat real, whole foods, your mitochondria thrive producing steady energy. But when you eat frozen, highly processed meals, the combination of trans fats, refined carbs, and chemical preservatives generates oxidative stress. That's essentially cellular rust. It damages your mitochondria, reducing energy output and increasing inflammation. Over time, this leads to a downward spiral. Less energy means less activity, less muscle tone, and slower metabolism. Before long, you're storing more fat, losing muscle mass, and feeling constantly tired even though you're not eating junk food in the traditional sense. And that's exactly the trap many seniors fall into. They think they're making smart choices because the packaging says, "Oit, low fat," or "heart healthy." But those claims are marketing gimmicks. Low-fat foods are often loaded with extra sugar or starch to make up for lost flavor. Heart healthy meals often use cheap vegetable oils that are anything but healthy. These industrial oils, like canola, soybean, and corn oil, are high in omega-6 fatty acids that drive inflammation. When you combine that with refined carbs, you get a perfect storm for metabolic damage. The end result is chronic low-grade inflammation, which scientists now recognize as the root cause of nearly every major age-related disease. Heart disease, type 2 diabetes, Alzheimer's, and even some cancers. The truth is, your body isn't designed to run on synthetic nutrients. It craves real food that contains natural vitamins, minerals, enzymes, and antioxidants. Frozen meals, on the other hand, are often flash-cooked at high temperatures and then frozen, which destroys much of their nutritional content. What's left is a mix of calories without life, dead food that fills your stomach but starves your cells. Seniors who rely heavily on these foods often experience brain fog, brittle hair, thinning skin, and loss of muscle tone. These are not just signs of aging, they're signs of nutrient deficiency and poor metabolic function. Now here's the part most people don't realize: you can reverse this trend. When you start replacing those frozen dinners with whole, nutrient-dense meals, Even if they're simple, you start to feel the difference almost immediately. Your energy levels rise because your cells are finally getting the fuel they need. Your sleep improves because your blood sugar stabilizes. Your digestion gets smoother, and you begin to lose that stubborn belly fat that nothing else seemed to touch. The key is not to eat less, it's to eat smarter. You can make quick, healthy meals using frozen vegetables, real proteins, and healthy fats. That's still convenience, but it's real nutrition, not synthetic chemistry. Think about it this way: your freezer should be a place of health, not harm. It should hold foods that restore your metabolism, not wreck it. Every time you choose a frozen dinner, you're choosing short-term convenience over long-term vitality. But every time you choose to nourish your body with real ingredients, you're teaching your metabolism to work for you, not against you. Your body has an incredible ability to heal, even at 70, 80, or beyond, but only if you stop overwhelming it with foods that sabotage your energy from the inside out. So the next time you reach for that microwavable meal, pause for a second and ask yourself, is this food going to heal me or harm me? Because that one decision, repeated over time, can determine how you age. Will you age with vitality, clarity, and strength, or will you let frozen convenience foods slowly steal your energy and independence? The choice is powerful, and the moment you understand that food is not just fuel, it's information that tells your body how to perform, you'll realize that what's in your freezer might be shaping your future more than you ever imagined. There's a hidden danger sitting quietly inside most people's freezers, and it's not sugar or preservatives this time, it's the oils used to cook and preserve those frozen foods. Industrial seed oils are one of the most destructive ingredients in modern nutrition, and they've found their way into nearly every processed or frozen item in the grocery store. You'll see them listed as soybean oil, canola oil, corn oil, sunflower oil, or cottonseed oil, and they might sound harmless. After all, they come from plants. Right? But these oils go through intense chemical processing that strips away any nutritional value and leaves behind toxic, inflammatory compounds. The result: every bite of those crispy frozen fries or breaded chicken strips is fueling inflammation, damaging your cells, and accelerating aging at a level most people never realize. When you consume foods fried or cooked in these oils, you're introducing unstable fats into your system. These oils are extremely high in omega-6 fatty acids, which aren't bad on their own, but when consumed in excess, especially without enough omega-3s to balance them, they trigger chronic inflammation. This inflammation doesn't always show up as pain right away. Instead, it builds silently, eroding your cellular health over time. You might feel it as stiff joints in the morning, low energy, or even brain fog. But what's really happening is microscopic damage, oxidation, at the cellular level. Every organ in your body, from your brain to your heart, suffers the consequences. Here's something most people don't realize: these oils don't just sit in your body for a day or two. They actually get incorporated into your cell membranes, where they can remain for months, even years. This means that every time you eat frozen fried foods, you're literally building your cells out of damaged fats. And when your cells are made from low quality materials, they don't communicate properly, they don't absorb nutrients efficiently, and they don't produce energy the way they should. Over time, that leads to fatigue, slower metabolism, and faster aging. Imagine building a house with weak, brittle bricks. That's what industrial seed oils do to your body at a cellular level. The process used to create these oils is alarming. The seeds are heated to extremely high temperatures, treated with chemical solvents like hexane, then bleached and deodorized to make them look clean and smell neutral. By the time they reach your plate, they've already gone rancid. And when you heat them again, especially in frozen fried foods that are baked or air fried, you're reheating already oxidized fats. This creates even more dangerous compounds called aldehydes and lipid peroxides. These toxic molecules circulate through your bloodstream, damaging DNA, stiffening arteries, and impairing brain function. Studies have shown that long-term consumption of these oils can contribute to Alzheimer's disease, heart disease, and even liver problems. For seniors, this is especially concerning because your ability to fight oxidative stress declines with age. Your antioxidant reserves, glutathione, CoQ10, vitamin E, start to drop, meaning your body has fewer defenses against this type of damage. When you combine that with years of exposure to inflammatory seed oils, the body becomes overwhelmed. You might notice your skin getting thinner, your joints aching more, your memory slipping, or your energy fading. Many people blame these symptoms on getting older, but they're really signs of cellular inflammation. And if you could see what's happening inside, you'd be shocked. Your cells are literally suffocating from the inside out. Now let's connect this to frozen foods. Most of the frozen fried items people buy, chicken tenders, onion rings, mozzarella sticks, fish fillets, are pre-cooked in these industrial oils before being frozen. That means the damage has already been done before you even heat them up at home. When you pop them in your oven or air fryer, you're not just reheating food, you're reactivating those toxic compounds and inhaling them as they cook. The smell of that fried aroma that fills your kitchen isn't just tempting, it's loaded with airborne oxidation byproducts that can irritate your lungs and even affect your brain. This is one reason why people who frequently cook or eat fried foods experience more inflammation-related symptoms, from fatigue to joint stiffness to poor circulation. What makes this issue even more dangerous for seniors is that it's subtle. Unlike sugar, which gives you an immediate energy crash, or caffeine, which you can feel right away, the damage from industrial oils accumulates quietly. Your arteries slowly lose elasticity, your liver struggles to detoxify, and your mitochondria, the tiny power plants that keep your body running, start to malfunction. When your mitochondria are under attack, everything declines: energy, mood, memory, even hormone balance. And it all traces back to something as simple as the oil that coats that frozen meal. One of the biggest misconceptions people have is thinking that vegetable oils are somehow better than animal fats. That's a marketing myth that started decades ago. The reality is that natural fats, like those found in butter, olive oil, avocado, and coconut, are far more stable and beneficial. These fats don't oxidize easily, they provide clean energy, and they help your body absorb fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K. In contrast, seed oils interfere with fat metabolism, block hormone production, and damage your body's ability to use omega-3s effectively. So even if you're eating salmon or taking fish oil supplements, those benefits are being undermined by the inflammatory oils hiding in your frozen foods. Think about your brain for a moment. It's made up of nearly 60% fat, and the quality of the fat you eat directly affects how your brain functions. When your brain is filled with oxidized fats from industrial oils, you experience sluggish thinking, poor memory, and mood swings. That's why so many seniors describe feeling mentally foggy. After eating processed foods, they're literally feeding their brains toxic fat. On the other hand, when you consume healthy fats like olive oil, grass-fed butter, or coconut oil, your brain runs cleaner and sharper. It's like the difference between running a car on clean fuel versus dirty diesel. Now, I know some people might say, but I don't fry food at home. That's great, but you might still be eating it. Industrial seed oils aren't just in fried foods. They're in frozen sauces, crusts, coatings, and even some frozen vegetables that come pre-seasoned. So the key is reading labels carefully. If you see words like vegetable oil, soybean oil, canola oil, or sunflower oil, it's best to leave that product behind. The more you remove these oils from your diet, the faster your body can start to repair itself. It's incredible how quickly people notice the difference: less joint pain, better focus, smoother digestion, and even improved skin tone. That's the body healing from inflammation once you stop feeding the fire. The human body has an amazing ability to bounce back when given the right environment. When you eliminate these toxic oils and replace them with real, stable fats, you're sending your cells a message: it's time to rebuild. Your cell membranes become more flexible, your mitochondria start producing energy more efficiently, and your hormones come back into balance. You start feeling lighter, more energetic, and more mentally clear, not because of a supplement or medication, but simply because you've removed the silent saboteur that's been attacking your system for years. The truth is, aging doesn't make you sick. Inflammation does. And the single most powerful step you can take to reduce inflammation is cutting out industrial seed oils. They're not just empty calories, they're active toxins that interfere with how your body was designed to function. Every time you swap out that frozen fried food for something cooked in real butter or olive oil, you're literally protecting your brain, your heart, and your energy levels. It's not about perfection, it's about awareness. The next time you open your freezer, look at what's inside and ask yourself, are these foods healing me or harming me? Because behind every label and every crispy bite lies a choice between short-term pleasure and long-term vitality. There's something about frozen desserts that feels nostalgic. Maybe it's the idea of comfort, or the convenience of having something sweet waiting in the freezer for when you need a treat. But here's the problem: those frozen waffles, pancakes, pies, and pastries are not harmless indulgences. For seniors, they can be some of the most damaging foods you can eat. And the reason isn't just about calories or fat. It's about what that sugar is doing to your body on a microscopic level. Sugar is not just empty energy, it's a biochemical wrecking ball that accelerates the aging process, weakens your muscles, and damages the very tissues that keep you youthful, mobile, and mentally sharp. Every time you reach for those sweet frozen comfort foods, you're not just satisfying a craving, you're speeding up the biological clock inside your body. Let's break this down from a metabolic perspective. When you eat a frozen pastry or sweet breakfast item, it's often loaded with refined flour, sugar, and artificial syrups. These simple carbohydrates enter your bloodstream almost instantly, spiking your blood sugar levels. In response, your pancreas releases insulin to shuttle that glucose into your cells. The problem is, as you age, your body becomes less sensitive to insulin. so your pancreas has to work harder and release even more insulin to do the same job. Over time, this constant demand for insulin leads to insulin resistance, a condition where your cells stop listening. That's the early stage of type 2 diabetes, but even before that diagnosis, insulin resistance sets off a cascade of other issues: fatigue, a brain fog, stubborn belly fat, and accelerated cellular aging. What makes frozen desserts even worse is that they often contain both refined sugar and unhealthy fats. When sugar and fat are consumed together, it's like lighting a metabolic firestorm. Your insulin spikes, your triglycerides rise, and your body stores that combination as fat around your organs, especially the liver. This is one of the leading causes of fatty liver disease in older adults, even in those who don't drink alcohol. Your liver is your metabolic engine, and when it's overworked trying to process excess sugar, it can't do its other jobs effectively, like breaking down toxins, producing bile, and balancing hormones. So while that frozen pie might taste innocent, it's quietly sabotaging your metabolism from the inside out. But the most dangerous effect of sugar goes far beyond weight or insulin. It's what it does to your proteins. There's a process called glycation, and it's one of the key mechanisms of aging. Glycation happens when sugar molecules attach to proteins in your body, forming harmful compounds called advanced glycation end products, AGEs for short. These AGEs stiffen and weaken your tissues. They make your skin lose elasticity, your joints less flexible, and your arteries less supple. Essentially, they make you older faster. The more sugar you eat, the more AGEs you create, and the faster your body deteriorates. This isn't just happening on the outside. Glycation affects your brain, your heart, your kidneys, and even your eyes. It's one of the reasons high sugar intake is linked to vision problems, cognitive decline, and slower wound healing in seniors. Now, here's where it gets tricky. Many frozen desserts are marketed as low-fat, reduced sugar, or diabetic-friendly. But when you look closer, they're often filled with sugar substitutes or starches that act just like sugar once they hit your bloodstream. Maltodextrin, corn syrup solids, and artificial sweeteners like aspartame and sucralose might not register as sugar on the label, but they still trigger insulin spikes and gut inflammation. And when your gut becomes inflamed, it disrupts the balance of your microbiome, the bacteria that regulate digestion, mood, and immunity. That's why people who eat a lot of processed frozen sweets often struggle with bloating, cravings, and fatigue. Their gut health is being eroded by chemical additives disguised as healthy ingredients. Sugar also affects your brain in powerful ways. Every time you eat something sweet, your brain releases dopamine, the same pleasure chemical that's triggered by addictive behaviors. Over time, you develop a tolerance, meaning you need more sugar to get the same satisfaction. That's why those frozen pastries seem impossible to resist. You're not weak-willed, you're biologically conditioned. The problem is, this constant dopamine stimulation also interferes with your ability to experience pleasure from real, nourishing foods. You start craving only the artificial highs while natural foods begin to taste dull. This is one of the major reasons why many seniors lose interest in healthy eating. Their taste buds and reward pathways have been hijacked by sugar. The damage doesn't stop there. When blood sugar spikes repeatedly, it damages the lining of your arteries, making them more prone to plaque buildup. That's why high sugar diets are directly linked to heart disease. But even more concerning is how sugar impairs muscle function. Your muscles depend on a delicate balance of proteins and mitochondria to generate energy. Glycation interferes with that balance, causing your muscles to weaken over time. That's part of why many older adults experience sarcopenia, muscle loss that makes them frail and more prone to falls. It's not just lack of exercise, it's the constant internal assault from sugar-laden foods that are draining your body's strength. Now, let's talk about inflammation. Every time you consume refined sugar, your blood glucose spikes and your body responds with an inflammatory reaction. That's part of the reason you might feel sluggish or puffy after eating sweets. Chronic inflammation affects every part of your body. It interferes with sleep, hormones, memory, and even immune function. When your body is inflamed, it's like running your engine with the warning lights on. It's working harder, but performing worse. For seniors, this can mean slower healing, more fatigue, and a greater risk of chronic illnesses. What's even more deceptive is that frozen desserts are often paired with artificial flavors and colors that make them addictive. These chemical additives not only confuse your palate, but can also stress your liver and nervous system. Your body has to work extra hard to detoxify them, using up valuable nutrients like B vitamins and magnesium in the process. That's why people who eat processed sweets often feel drained and irritable afterward. Their bodies are literally burning through nutrients just to recover from the meal. But here's the good news. You can reverse much of this damage by changing how you approach sweetness. Your taste buds can reset in as little as 2 weeks when you cut out added sugars. Suddenly, real foods, like berries, nuts, and even dark chocolate, start tasting sweeter. Your energy levels stabilize, Your focus sharpens and your mood evens out. It's not about giving up pleasure, it's about reclaiming it in a healthier, more sustainable way. Imagine starting your day with something that nourishes your body instead of draining it, like an omelette with spinach and avocado or a protein smoothie with unsweetened berries. The satisfaction lasts longer, your energy stays steady, and you don't experience the crash that comes from sugar-heavy breakfasts. When you stop feeding your body those frozen pastries, something amazing happens inside your cells. Your insulin sensitivity improves, meaning your body can use energy more efficiently. Your mitochondria start producing more clean energy instead of storing it as fat. Your liver begins to detoxify more effectively, and your skin starts to regain its glow. You might even notice that your mood improves because your blood sugar is finally stable. The fog lifts, your cravings fade, and your body starts healing from years of silent damage. Food is information. It tells your body what to do. Every time you eat, you're either telling your body to grow younger or older. Frozen desserts, pastries, and sweet breakfast foods send a message of inflammation and decay. Whole, nutrient-rich foods send a message of repair and regeneration. And when you make that switch, you're not just improving your diet, you're rewriting your body's code for how it ages. You have far more control over that process than you've been led to believe. Aging doesn't have to mean decline. It can mean renewal, if you feed your body the right information, not the sugary lies hiding in your freezer. Most people open their freezer and see convenience. Packages of sausages, patties, or ready-to-cook meats that seem quick and harmless. But what they don't realize is that those frozen processed meats are some of the most harmful foods you can put into your body, especially as you age. The reason has nothing to do with the meat itself. It's about what's been done to it. Behind that neat, frozen packaging lies a combination of preservatives, additives, and chemicals that silently erode your health from the inside out. The same foods that promise protein and energy are, in reality, placing enormous stress on your liver, kidneys, and cardiovascular system. And the longer you consume them, the more your body begins to show the subtle but dangerous signs of overload fatigue, swelling, digestive issues, and even accelerated aging. When you eat frozen processed meats like sausages, pepperoni, or burger patties, you're not just eating protein, you're consuming a cocktail of preservatives such as nitrates, phosphates, and sodium-based curing agents. These chemicals are added to preserve color, extend shelf life, and enhance flavor, but they come at a serious cost. Nitrates, for instance, convert into nitrosamines in your body, which are compounds known to damage cells and increase the risk of certain cancers. Your liver, the organ responsible for filtering toxins, has to work overtime to process these chemicals. And if you're over 50, that's a major concern, because as you age, your liver's detoxification ability naturally declines. Each serving of those frozen meats adds another layer of toxic burden your body must struggle to eliminate. Your kidneys are also heavily impacted. Many frozen processed meats are loaded with phosphates, a common additive that gives food a juicy, meaty texture even after months of freezing. But in the human body, too much phosphate disrupts calcium balance, leaching it from your bones and making them weaker over time. This imbalance not only increases your risk of osteoporosis, but also places stress on your kidneys as they try to regulate excess minerals. Seniors who consume phosphate-rich foods regularly often experience swelling, fluid retention, and even elevated blood pressure, all signs that the kidneys are under duress. It's a vicious cycle. The very foods marketed as convenient sources of protein are draining the organs responsible for keeping you alive and balanced. Now, let's talk about protein quality, because not all proteins are created equal. The kind of protein found in frozen processed meats is not the kind your muscles need for repair and strength. These products are often made from low-grade meat scraps and fillers bound together with starches and chemical binders. This denatured protein lacks the essential amino acid profile your muscles require to stay strong. Over time, consuming poor quality protein leads to muscle wasting, a condition known as sarcopenia, which is one of the biggest challenges seniors face. You might think you're getting enough protein from those frozen burgers or sausages, but your body can't properly use what it can't recognize. Instead of rebuilding muscle tissue, it creates more metabolic waste, forcing your liver and kidneys to work harder to clear it. And then there's the issue of sodium. Most frozen processed meats contain staggering amounts of salt, sometimes over 200 milligrams per serving. For someone over 60, that's a major red flag. Excess sodium doesn't just cause water retention, it also disrupts your electrolyte balance, depleting your body of potassium and magnesium, two minerals essential for heart rhythm, muscle function, and nerve health. That's why many seniors who consume processed meats regularly experience symptoms like leg cramps, fatigue, and irregular heartbeats. Their electrolyte system is out of balance, but they don't realize it's coming from the foods they thought were giving them strength. What makes this even more concerning is how these foods affect inflammation. The additives, processed fats, and excess sodium and frozen meats all work together to trigger chronic low-grade inflammation. You may not feel it immediately, but inflammation slowly damages your blood vessels, joints, and connective tissues. Over time, this can contribute to arthritis, poor circulation, and even cognitive decline. Studies have shown that people who eat processed meats frequently have higher markers of inflammatory compounds like C-reactive protein (CRP) in their blood. In other words, these foods keep your body in a state of constant internal stress. And when your body is inflamed, it can't heal properly, no matter how many supplements or medications you take. Your digestive system also takes a major hit. Many frozen meats are packed with emulsifiers, stabilizers, and fillers that disrupt the balance of your gut microbiome. These additives interfere with the good bacteria that keep your digestion smooth and your immune system strong. When your gut bacteria are out of balance, it can lead to bloating, constipation, and even mood changes. The gut is often called your second brain, and when it's inflamed, it sends distress signals to your nervous system, affecting your focus and emotional well-being. That's why many people who eat processed foods regularly report feeling sluggish, moody, or mentally drained. They're not just digesting food, they're digesting chemicals that confuse the body's communication network. One of the most overlooked aspects of frozen processed meats is the type of fat they contain. Unlike fresh, grass-fed meats that provide healthy, stable fats, these frozen products are often high in trans fats and oxidized oils from industrial processing. Trans fats are one of the most damaging substances for cardiovascular health. They raise bad cholesterol's LDL, lower good cholesterol's HDL, and stiffen the walls of your arteries. Over time, this leads to reduced circulation and increased risk of heart disease and stroke. For seniors, this is particularly dangerous because circulation is already slower and arterial flexibility is reduced with age. The combination of poor fats, sodium, and preservatives becomes a perfect storm for cardiovascular strain. Let's look at how this all plays out inside your body. When you consume these frozen meats, your digestive system sends the broken down components, chemical additives, oxidized fats, and denatured proteins into your bloodstream. Your liver tries to filter the toxins, but many of them escape into circulation. Your kidneys work overtime to balance the excess sodium and phosphate, pulling minerals from your bones to compensate. Meanwhile, your arteries stiffen, your blood pressure rises, and your muscles fail to get the quality protein they need to stay strong. You might feel tired, puffy, or mentally foggy, not realizing that these are signs of toxic overload. It's not just aging. It's the cumulative effect of years of consuming foods that your body was never designed to handle. What's remarkable, though, is how quickly the body can begin to recover once you stop feeding it these chemical-laden foods. Within weeks of eliminating frozen processed meats, people often notice they sleep better, their joints ache less, and their energy returns. The liver starts to regenerate, the kidneys regain balance, and inflammation markers begin to drop. Your taste buds even change. Suddenly, fresh foods start to taste richer and more satisfying. That's your body's way of saying thank you for giving it real nourishment instead of toxic imitation. If you want to protect your liver, support your kidneys, and maintain strong muscles as you age, the best thing you can do is go back to basics. Choose clean, whole sources of protein, fresh fish, eggs, grass-fed beef, or organic chicken. If you need the convenience of frozen food, pick unprocessed cuts of meat without additives or sauces. Cook them yourself with olive oil, herbs, and sea salt. That way, you know exactly what's going into your body. It takes only a few minutes more, but it can add years of vitality to your life. Because when you understand how deeply these hidden chemicals affect your organs, you begin to realize that health isn't lost with age. It's lost with choices. The good news is, those choices are entirely in your control. Every meal can either feed your body's ability to heal or drain it. And when you remove frozen processed meats from your diet, you're not just protecting your organs. You're giving yourself the chance to age with strength, clarity, and the kind of energy that most people think disappears with time. Most people believe that fresh produce is always better than frozen, but here's the surprising truth. When it comes to certain vegetables, frozen can actually be superior. That's right, those humble bags of frozen broccoli, spinach, kale, or cauliflower tucked away in your freezer might just be some of the most powerful anti-aging foods you can eat. The reason has nothing to do with convenience, it's about science. When vegetables are flash frozen at peak ripeness, their nutrients are locked in almost instantly. Meanwhile, the fresh produce sitting in grocery store bins may have traveled thousands of miles, losing up to half of its vitamin content before it even reaches your plate. For seniors especially, this difference can be life-changing. The key minerals and fat nutrients preserved in frozen greens can help support stronger muscles, a sharper mind, and more balanced blood sugar, 3 things that become increasingly vital with every passing year. Think about how your body functions at the cellular level. Every organ, muscle, and nerve in your body depends on a steady supply of micronutrients like magnesium, potassium, and vitamin K, all of which are abundant in dark leafy greens and cruciferous vegetables. Magnesium is essential for over 300 enzymatic reactions in the body, helping to regulate energy production, heart rhythm, and nerve function. Potassium maintains fluid balance and keeps blood pressure in check. And vitamin K is a silent hero. It not only supports healthy blood clotting, but also directs calcium into your bones instead of your arteries. This is critical as you age, because the body tends to misplace calcium with time, leading to stiff joints, brittle bones, and hardened arteries. Frozen greens retain these nutrients better than many fresh options, making them a hidden weapon for longevity and vitality. Now, let's talk about digestion. As you get older, your digestive system becomes less efficient, and many seniors struggle with issues like constipation, bloating, or nutrient malabsorption. Frozen greens can help correct that. Their natural fiber supports gut motility and feeds the beneficial bacteria that live in your intestines. A healthy microbiome doesn't just improve digestion, it strengthens your immune system, stabilizes your mood, and even influences how your body absorbs nutrients. That's why people who eat more fiber-rich foods, including frozen vegetables, often report better energy levels and improved focus. The gut truly is the foundation of health, and when it's fed the right kind of plant fiber, it rewards you with smoother digestion and stronger immunity. Another major reason frozen vegetables are so valuable for seniors is their effect on blood sugar. Many older adults struggle with insulin resistance or prediabetes without even realizing it. The nutrients in frozen greens, especially magnesium and chromium, help improve insulin sensitivity, allowing your cells to absorb glucose more effectively. This keeps your blood sugar stable throughout the day, preventing those energy crashes and cravings that drive people to snack on unhealthy foods. In fact, studies show that diets high in green vegetables can lower the risk of type 2 diabetes by up to 14%. When you include a serving or two of frozen greens daily, you're not just filling your plate with fiber, you're actively helping your body regulate one of its most important hormones. And then there's inflammation, the silent force behind nearly every chronic disease. Frozen greens like kale, spinach, and broccoli are rich in antioxidants such as lutein, zeaxanthin, and quercetin, compounds that help neutralize free radicals before they can damage your cells. They also contain chlorophyll, the green pigment that helps purify your blood and support liver detoxification. The liver plays a massive role in how you age. It processes toxins, balances hormones, and helps manage fat metabolism. When your liver is overloaded from years of processed foods or medications, your body starts showing signs of distress, sluggishness, dull skin, and weight gain around the midsection. By incorporating frozen greens into your meals, you give your liver the support it needs to function efficiently. You're literally helping your body detoxify itself one meal at a time. One of the most powerful benefits of frozen greens is their role in preserving muscle function and bone density. Sarcopenia, age-related muscle loss, is one of the most underestimated conditions in older adults. You can lose up to 1% of your muscle mass per year after 50 if you're not actively maintaining it. But here's where nutrients like potassium, magnesium, and vitamin K2 found in certain greens come into play. They work synergistically to maintain proper muscle contractions, bone mineralization, and circulation. Without enough of these nutrients, the body can't rebuild tissue efficiently. Seniors who eat more leafy greens tend to have stronger grip strength, better balance, and greater overall mobility. And the best part is, frozen greens make it incredibly easy to get these nutrients daily. No washing, chopping, or worrying about spoilage. Let's also not forget how these vegetables protect your brain. Oxidative stress and inflammation are two major factors in cognitive decline. The compounds found in greens, like folate, carotenoids, and polyphenols, protect neurons from damage and improve communication between brain cells. Studies have found that individuals who eat green vegetables daily experience a much slower rate of cognitive decline compared to those who rarely eat them. Frozen greens, especially when blended into smoothies or cooked gently in olive oil, retain these brain-supportive compounds. It's a simple, affordable way to support memory, focus, and mood well into your later years. But here's something most people overlook: frozen vegetables actually help restore energy on a cellular level. Inside your cells are tiny power generators called mitochondria, and they rely on minerals like magnesium, iron, and B vitamins to function. When mitochondria are depleted, you feel tired, sluggish, and weak. Greens provide the raw materials those mitochondria need to produce ATP, the molecule that fuels every movement, heartbeat, and thought. That's why, after just a few weeks of increasing your intake of greens, many people notice they wake up with more energy and less afternoon fatigue. It's not just in their head, it's the body finally producing energy efficiently again. Now, some people worry that frozen vegetables lose their texture or flavor compared to fresh. But that's an easy fix. When you prepare them properly, with a drizzle of olive oil, a sprinkle of sea salt, or a dash of lemon, they become just as vibrant and delicious as anything from the farmer's market. The key is not to overcook them. Steam or sauté your frozen greens lightly to preserve their natural enzymes and flavor. In fact, combining them with healthy fats like olive oil or avocado helps your body absorb their fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K even better. It's a perfect example of how simple combinations, like greens with good fats, can dramatically improve nutrient absorption and overall health. Imagine your body as a system that thrives on high-quality input. Every time you choose frozen greens instead of skipping vegetables altogether, you're giving your body a gift. A surge of life, sustaining nutrients that protect, repair, and energize you from within. You're feeding your cells with the raw materials they need to rebuild tissue, detoxify waste, and support the delicate balance that keeps your body running smoothly. Seniors who include these foods regularly report clearer thinking, lighter digestion, and a renewed sense of vitality. They're not just maintaining their health, they're reclaiming it. It's easy to underestimate something as simple as frozen vegetables, but the truth is, these foods offer a level of nutritional consistency that fresh produce often can't. They're affordable, accessible, and ready whenever you need them. In a world full of processed, chemical-laden options, a handful of frozen greens is like an insurance policy for your health. Every bite helps stabilize your blood sugar, support your heart, strengthen your bones, and rejuvenate your cells. It's not about convenience, it's about longevity. Because when you understand what these vegetables do for your body, you stop seeing them as just a side dish and start seeing them as a daily tool for keeping your body young, strong, and deeply nourished. Most people think of frozen foods as bland or lifeless, but when it comes to frozen berries and wild, caught fish, that couldn't be further from the truth. These two foods are not just nutritious, they are biologically protective, anti-aging, and deeply restorative to every cell in your body. Think of them as nature's defense system against the hidden causes of aging inflammation, oxidative stress, and mitochondrial decline. What's fascinating is how these two foods work together. Frozen berries protect your cells from damage, while wild-caught fish helps rebuild and strengthen them. It's a perfect balance, one that can help you maintain youthful energy, sharper memory, and stronger cardiovascular health well into your 60s, 70s, and beyond. Let's start with berries. These small, colorful fruits are packed with antioxidants, natural compounds that neutralize free radicals, which are unstable molecules that damage your DNA, proteins, and cell membranes. Over time, free radical damage leads to wrinkles, slower recovery, fatigue, and a higher risk of chronic diseases. Frozen berries, blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, and strawberries are flash frozen at peak ripeness, locking in all their phytonutrients. In contrast, the fresh berries you see in stores may have been picked early, transported long distances, and lost much of their antioxidant power by the time they reach you. This makes frozen berries not just a convenient choice, but a scientifically superior one. One of the most powerful compounds in berries is anthocyanin, the pigment that gives them their deep, rich color. Anthocyanins don't just make berries look beautiful, they actively protect your brain, heart, and blood vessels from oxidative stress. Studies show that people who consume berries regularly have better memory retention and slower cognitive decline. That's because these antioxidants cross the blood-brain barrier, where they reduce inflammation and improve neuron communication. Seniors who add a daily serving of frozen berries often report improved focus, mood, and even better sleep quality. The brain is an organ that thrives on antioxidant protection, and berries deliver exactly that in a concentrated, bioavailable form. But the benefits don't stop with the brain. Berries have a profound effect on your cardiovascular system. The antioxidants and polyphenols in these fruits strengthen the lining of your blood vessels, improving elasticity and circulation. They help lower LDL oxidation, the damaging process that leads to plaque buildup and artery stiffening. In simpler terms, berries help keep your blood vessels youthful. They reduce inflammation, stabilize blood pressure, and support nitric oxide production, which improves blood flow to every part of your body, including your muscles and skin. This is why many people who eat berries consistently notice their skin looks healthier and their endurance improves. The same compounds that protect your heart also protect your skin from premature aging. Another often overlooked benefit of berries is their impact on blood sugar regulation. Despite their natural sweetness, berries are low on the glycemic index, meaning they don't spike your blood sugar like other fruits do. In fact, the fiber and polyphenols in berries slow down glucose absorption and improve insulin sensitivity. This makes them one of the best dessert alternatives for anyone dealing with insulin resistance or diabetes. For seniors whose cells may be less responsive to insulin, berries can be a game changer. They allow you to satisfy your sweet cravings without the metabolic consequences. Over time, this stabilizes your energy, reduces inflammation, and protects your pancreas from overworking. Now let's talk about wild-caught fish, specifically varieties like salmon, sardines, mackerel, and cod. These fish are loaded with omega-3 fatty acids, particularly EPA and DHA, which play a central role in reducing inflammation and supporting brain and heart health. Most people underestimate how powerful these fatty acids are. Every single cell in your body is surrounded by a membrane made largely of fat. The quality of that fat determines how flexible and functional your cells are. When you eat omega-3s from wild-caught fish, you're literally rebuilding those membranes with anti-inflammatory materials. This helps cells communicate better, absorb nutrients more efficiently, and resist damage. For the brain, omega-3s are absolutely essential. The human brain is nearly 60% fat, and DHA is one of its primary building blocks. As you age, DHA levels decline, and that's directly linked to memory loss, slower thinking, and mood imbalances. Regularly eating wild-caught fish replenishes these levels, supporting sharper cognition and better emotional stability. Studies show that older adults who consume fish at least twice a week have a significantly lower risk of cognitive decline and Alzheimer's disease. This isn't coincidence, it's chemistry. The brain thrives on the same healthy fats found in wild-caught fish, and when it's nourished properly, it performs better at every level. On a deeper level, omega-3s influence inflammation throughout the body. Chronic inflammation is behind nearly every disease of aging: heart disease, arthritis, diabetes, and even some cancers. Omega-3 fatty acids suppress inflammatory pathways and balance the immune response, helping your body heal instead of constantly attacking itself. This is particularly important for seniors, whose immune systems tend to become overactive and less efficient over time. When you combine the anti-inflammatory effects of fish with the antioxidant protection from berries, you create a synergistic effect that defends every organ system from deterioration. The cardiovascular benefits of wild-caught fish are equally profound. Omega-3s help lower triglycerides, stabilize heart rhythms, and prevent blood from clotting excessively. They also increase HDL, the good cholesterol that carries fats away from your arteries. This helps keep your blood vessels clear and flexible, promoting healthy circulation. People who consume omega-3 rich fish regularly tend to have lower resting heart rates, better blood pressure, and improved vascular health. For seniors, that means less strain on the heart and a lower risk of heart attacks or strokes. It's not about avoiding disease. It's about optimizing the systems that keep you alive. Another fascinating aspect of wild-caught fish is how it supports mitochondrial health. Your mitochondria are the power plants of your cells, the structures that produce energy. As you age, mitochondrial efficiency declines, leading to fatigue and slower recovery. The omega-3s in fish help stabilize mitochondrial membranes, protecting them from oxidative damage and improving energy production. This is why many people who add fish to their diet report greater stamina and better overall vitality. It's not just that they're eating protein, they're literally improving the efficiency of their body's energy engines. Let's not forget about how these foods work together. Berries protect your cells from oxidative stress, while fish rebuilds those cells with high-quality fats and proteins. One is the defense system, the other is the repair crew. Together, they slow down aging at the molecular level. This combination supports smoother skin, sharper cognition, stronger immunity, and better mood regulation. It's a natural prescription for vitality, something no supplement can fully replicate. And because both foods can be found frozen, they're accessible year-round, affordable, and incredibly easy to prepare. Here's a powerful way to integrate them. Start your morning with a smoothie made of frozen berries, a handful of spinach, and a scoop of clean protein. Then, for lunch or dinner, include a serving of wild-caught salmon or sardines with some olive oil and lemon. This simple combination floods your body with antioxidants, essential fatty acids, and protein, nutrients that actively fight inflammation and support regeneration. Within weeks, many people notice clearer skin, steadier energy, and improved mental clarity. That's your body responding to nourishment on a cellular level. There's also something remarkable about the emotional and psychological effects of these foods. Omega-3s from fish and polyphenols from berries have been shown to improve mood, reduce anxiety, and support neurotransmitter balance. They help regulate serotonin and dopamine levels, the very chemicals that determine how calm, focused, and motivated you feel. Many seniors who adopt this nutritional combination find themselves feeling more positive, alert, and engaged with life. It's not just physical vitality, it's emotional rejuvenation. Every bite of frozen berries and every serving of wild-caught fish is a small investment in your future health. These foods don't just nourish, they protect, repair, and revitalize your body from the inside out. They bridge the gap between longevity and quality of life, between just living and truly thriving. What's most remarkable is that they're simple, natural, and accessible to everyone. You don't need expensive supplements or complicated diets to experience their benefits. Just two powerful foods that nature designed to keep you strong, sharp, and full of life. When you make them a daily habit, you're not just eating, you're actively reversing the effects of time, one meal at a time.